May 14th, 2024. Oh my God. Yesterday, outside my clients, the neighbors got out of the vehicle. They said that Chris and his friends could end up in jail for this. They all helped out because they thought that girl was poor because she had a baby. And they found out how much money that family has. And none of them think it's funny. They're slow, right? She's an RN nurse. You can go right on Google. They make 160,000 at least in Ohio. Been an RN nurse since she was in her early 20s. Her ex-husband Jack, they were married 30-something years. He was an electrician. Made the same, if not more. Her dad owned an electrical company. Owned it. Had guys working under him. Owned it. And then his parents had reality. They came from money. They're money that come from money that makes more money. The rich, entitled people. So this girl, their daughter that's rich and entitled, fucks a big drug dealer. Which drug dealers have money. And big ones have mega money. And you thought she was poor. Why? She's rich and entitled. Do you know how many single moms go out and work 2 jobs? Put themselves through college to make a better life for them and their child. A lot. A lot. Or they scrape by and do without. And there are really poor single mothers. Do they go out and have people stalked? No. Do they have people drugged, beaten, raped? No. Do they human traffic people? Do they sell kiddie porn? Do they run a sextortion scheme to extort money out of people? Because they had a baby. Not unless they're psycho. High on drugs. Thinking they can pull it and they got a drug habit they're trying to fill. Because it's not normal. The mentality of this is insane. And what these people did to me is insane. And what's more insane? They went and told a federal police officer. They were hired stalkers on their own. Doing this to me on their own. By federal constitutional laws. State and local. What was he supposed to do to him? He was to arrest them for stalking me. Stalking and menacing. It's right on Google. Your spouse can't interfere in your personal private life. So why would they be allowed? Because she fucked a drug dealer? And she's rich and entitled. Comes from money. Parents have a ton of money. Do you realize every 4 years they made $1 million between the two? My son, John, is an electrician. Told me over 15 years ago he made way over $100,000. He said if I keep saving for him and Melissa started fighting, he said I'll be able to retire before I'm 50. And I'll be able to live comfortably the rest of my life. Now, you tell me, the rich and entitled go in, and so you're going to say that agent didn't look up their family's net worth? You can't even feel sorry for these people. Huh? You can't even feel sorry for them. They went in and told a federal agent they were hired stalkers on their own. That they were drugging me, had sodium pentothal reports. He knew they couldn't get it. He knew they were roofing me, amnesia drugging me. They were beating and raping me to a federal cop. Did he arrest him? No. They were selling me on porn sites. Me and David in bed. Tried a sextortion act of photoshopping of washing in the other room and stocking tapes. They had drugged me up to get the so-called truth where they were drugging me and framing me. To a federal agent. They were beating, raping me. To a federal agent. They were selling pornography of children to a federal agent of little kids going potty on porn sites. And he didn't arrest the child molesters. Savannah is a child molester. So is her parents. So is Dave. So is that Alex. And all these people involved. They said in January 19th, the people they hired to do this to her are nothing but fucking child molesters. They're human traffickers. She was messed up with the Florida human trafficker seen with them at Faith Family Church. And then I'm Minerva Grinders under police surveillance. Huh? With the guy that's a fake FBI agent? Is that her big drug dealing boyfriend? Or the one they call Chris? They said they erased out of the room in their stocking tapes where they were photoshopping everything. So how could that agent, even the government would never, ever allow him to act like he was aiding and abetting those crimes for any reason. He was to arrest him. You know what should have happened here? Waco, Texas, where the government and the military and all the law enforcement swarmed a religious compound. They should have swarmed all the apostolic churches and arrested them all and found out who was involved in these heinous crimes and exploiting me, my children, and my grandchildren, and think that they could start violating people and then be arrogant enough to walk into a federal office and admit they did it to a federal cop. Not the federal cop making fun of the victim on a recorded line. How she's being exploited and how she didn't know. And the only thing that poor victim knew is they had bruises, throwing up, heart racing, and a severe personal infection and thought it was a dirty well water making them sick and killing them. And the doctor's not even putting it together. Sexual predators preying on somebody. And he's making fun of her for a serial rapist. You know, some lady was outside my clients, said we all know it was them doing it to her. And I found out, she told Faith Family Church she could have anybody drug, beat, and rape. All she had to do is ask those guys. Nobody say a word to her. I know. She thinks she's a little mafia goddess. And drug cartel guys, we're going to put it this way. Even her drug-dealing boyfriend, you may have had sex with her. She's pretty, but she's okay. She's nothing to write home about. Because the cartel helped out in this, because he was a big drug dealer. The strippers helped out. They were beautiful. They were like model level, stacked, beautiful. I can almost see them doing this for a stripper, but Savannah, she's one of those pretty girls, but it's like flat. Nothing to write home about. Thin, pretty, but nothing great. See what I mean? She's one of those pretty girls, but not exactly beautiful. The strippers that helped out here, if it was for one of them, I almost could see that. Or a hormone-raged man for something that looks like a model. But Savannah? Are you fucking kidding me? Even her boyfriend? You're a big drug dealer. You could go get a stripper that looked like a model. For her? I know you had sex with her and had a kid with her years ago. But for her? She's just a baby mama. Seriously. This has got to the point of people helping out. Like the neighbor said, they thought they were poor because she had a child. Just because you have a child doesn't make you poor. They were very wealthy. And in, like I said, 4 years, that family made over $1 million every 4 years for 30 years. She makes over 100, 160 being an RN nurse too. State needs to pull her and Pam's license for being human traffickers. Which we need to have a talk. There was people outside my apartment, but again, I could hear them off in the distance in Louisville. You know, I was going through everything. You know, when that doctor told me that the other doctors were making me sick on purpose, ripping off my insurance. That doctor was so pissed. Said, you know, they're known for lying. They're known for falsely diagnosing people. They're known for writing out bad prescriptions and making people sick. You're not the first one. Turn them into the state for them to pull their license. There's nothing wrong with you, but your muscles locked up. You got to think, you take a perfectly healthy person. They had an injury to part of their body. Well, I had surgery to my stomach and back, quite a few, within a few years. Okay, from the endometriosis kidney surgeries. My muscles locked up. Be like some having surgery on your leg several times. You're not going to be able to move your leg until you go through physical therapy and long physical therapy. And muscle relaxers and pain pills to get the muscles and tendons to unlock. Okay? There was nothing wrong with me, but my muscles locked up. I walked in those doctor's office, 105 pounds, full of pain. Nothing's wrong with me, but my muscle locked up. Within a year's time, I'm 250 to 275 pounds. I've had many heart attacks. My valves in my heart enlarged until I was having many heart attacks. It's on one of the things. Her heart valves enlarged. I had to be on calcium blockers and nitro pills because the medicine was then encouraging the heart to go into a heart attack. My brain was swelling. They lied. I had level 2 brain tumors, and they were causing the brain swelling. And they wanted to remove my pituitary gland. They shut down my thyroid, my adrenal gland. My body was so full of fluid, my knees were popping out of place. And like they said, there's no way those doctors didn't know they were killing her. And it took another doctor to tell them. That doctor was so pissed. Those doctors are all known for falsely diagnosing people on purpose, just to write out those big prescriptions and get kickbacks from the drug companies. They're all known for lying. And then sharing with their associates and their friends, and they rip off people's insurance. It's an endless bank account that they rob. It's called overcare. You have really good insurance. Crooked doctors will falsely diagnose you, write out big prescriptions, and make you sick, so you have to keep coming back. She even said they make people sick, so they have to keep coming back. You got to pay for the offices. You got to pay for the big prescriptions. You get kickbacks from the drug company. Now they want to do unnecessary procedures. The bastards wanted to take part of my brain out, and there was nothing wrong with me. And it was them doing it. Like the investigators, there's no way, with everything swelling up and everything shutting down, they didn't know they weren't killing her. They still didn't pull them. And it took another doctor to tell them. It was documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. People purposely lying to make someone sick. You know, I had this one client. He had mental issues, and they diagnosed bipolar, and they put him on medicine for him. He became erratic, mean, eating, you name it. He became off the chart. And I'm calling the office, and I'm like, he's getting worse. He's becoming more blah, 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 where it was just like a little. He's like off the chart. And they said, well, write a note and take it to a psychiatrist's office and tell him what you're seeing. I did. He was schizophrenic. Took him off the medicine, gave him the right medicine, and you know he was fine. He could hold down a job and everything. They were making him sick with the wrong diagnosis. But these doctors were so evil. They were purposely misdiagnosing people so they'd have to come back, getting kickbacks from the drug companies, and so that they could and then do unnecessary procedures and sharing with their associate and friend. See, that's where that doctor was so pissed that told on them. They're known for doing this and for lying on people and saying this and that, da 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 da. Turn them into the state for them to pull their license. And you get an attorney and sue them. There's nothing. You take a perfectly healthy human being, and there's nothing wrong with them, but they had trauma to one part of their area, and they need physical therapy, pain medicine, and muscle relaxers till those muscles heal, and you build new muscle tissue where there's so much trauma. And then you give them medicine for anything else. What's going to happen? You're going to make that person extremely sick and almost kill them. See, there was nothing, like she said, there's nothing wrong with you, but your muscles locked up. Nothing. They're all lying to rip you off. And they're purposely making you sick. Like they said in Altman Hospital on December 30th, 23, my God, Nobody's ever talked to these people. They had some guy impersonate a doctor from Altman Hospital selling their information. The hospital gets sued. You make me a millionaire for HIPAA violations. And no one's to ever back those doctors before. My God, they were all lying to the point they said she had brain tumors and there was nothing wrong with her. And it was their medication making her sick. And they were just ripping off her insurance. And no one's to ever back that. And the cops there said all those doctors were lying. He said, yeah, they were ripping off her insurance. None of this is funny. And they were known for doing it. Making people sick on purpose. I have a friend in West Virginia. He said it's still going on down there. That if you have good insurance, they'll falsely diagnose you, give you medicine, make you sick, share you with their friends, and they'll rip off your insurance. And they're known for doing it down there now. And they were talking about on TV. It's called Overcare. If you have good insurance, the doctors will rip you off and make you sick. Just think of a person that walked in somebody's office, 105 pounds, in a lot of pain from all the surgery. And there's nothing wrong with them, but they're in pain from having all those surgeries and their muscles all tightened up and won't relax. In a year's time, their brain swelled, had many heart attacks, heart valves enlarged, thyroid, adrenal gland shut down, and their whole body swelled up till their knees are popping out of place. And they're dying because the crackpots made them that sick and lied. And it took another doctor to tell them because there was nothing wrong with them. That's how sick it was. That's why they encouraged Dave and I to sue him for 2 years, and they were known for doing that. All lying on people and ripping them off. Get an attorney and sue him. The state needs to pull their license. I'm going to upload this, but so you people, where would you think Savannah and her family was poor? Like they said, they all found out how wealthy they are, and nobody thinks it's funny. Did you not realize what they did for a living? You didn't look up their net worth? Seriously? And their family's net worth? It's the rich entitled people exploiting women and children. I'm going to upload this.